2 days after the verdict in the Derek Chauvin case, the calls for change in policing continue. But a former Salt Lake police chief says many of the proposed changes don't go far enough. News specialist Matt Rascone sat down with Chris Burbank and has more on exactly what he had to say. Matt?
Yeah, Mike, over the last year, we've heard from protesters. We've heard the demands for more accountability, for implementing new training, and for banning lethal weapons. But the former chief said it's going to take a lot more than that to prevent what he called the failure of our system.
Justice for Breonna Taylor!
We've seen the push for change.
Make some noise for George!
We've heard this week's verdict.
Oh, it's huge. It's huge.
Still, the question remains, where should policing go from here?
How are we going to change policing so that you and I aren't having this discussion a year from now?
Chris Burbank is the retired chief of the Salt Lake Police Department. He now works with the Center for Policing Equity.
Let's come to the middle and have some compromise, have some agreement in order to move this forward.
Across the board.
Across the board.
Protesters have demanded more accountability. Salt Lake's Commission on Racial Equity and Policing recently recommended the police department increase diversity and improve training. And the department recently armed more officers with less lethal weapons.
So in other words, we're just going to do the same thing, but we'll shoot you with a softer thing as opposed to a real bullet. That's not solving the problem. That's just changing the action of force.
Burbank argues these types of changes don't get at the root of the problem.
We've been making changes to the officers for years, for my entire career, and it hasn't changed the outcome.
For him, that includes changing the laws governing use of force.
We need to look at the totality of the circumstance. We need to look at the exigency. Why is it immediately necessary? Not just reasonable, necessary.
A new set of rules, he says, for officers to learn and to be held accountable to.
We should not accept another person dying at the hands of a police officer or another police officer dying at the hands of a member of the public. This is unacceptable.
For many, the need for change is clear.
We have got to change. Right? We have the country right now, right here in front of us. Let's change it.
But the way forward
I'm just insistent.
Is uncertain. Burbank said the problems with use of force, with racism and other things he described in the police department is much bigger than policing. It's a societal problem, he says. And he had a lot to say, as you can see. You can find actually our whole interview with him on the latest KSL Plus show. That's on the KSL TV app and on KSLTV.com. Guys.
Yeah, interesting concepts there. Matt Rascone live tonight. Matt, thank you.